Pop quiz. Your application is running on EC2. You can SSH in, but HTTP requests are timing out. You check your security group. Port 80 is wide open. What's wrong? You forgot about network ACLs. Here is the truth. 95% of the AWS engineer only uses security groups and completely ignore NACLs, which is network access control list. And that works until it doesn't. Today we are settling the debate security group versus network ACLs. What's the difference? When do you use each and why does it matter? Hi, I'm Pratik Kumar Mohite, a cloud DevOps professional, and I built this channel for one reason to help you think like a cloud native architect. As a cloud professional, you need to understand five fundamental differences. These aren't just the technical details, they determine which tool you use, where they operate, security groups, instance level attached to EC2 instance, RDS databases, Lambda functions, anything with a network interface. Network ACLs, subnet level, every subnet has exactly one NACL controlling all traffic in and out. Stateful versus stateless. Security groups are stateful, allow inbound on port 80, response traffic automatically flows back out. AWS tracks the connection. Network ACLs are stateless, no connection tracking. Allow inbound port 80. You must explicitly allow outbound ephemeral ports 1024 to 65535 for responses, both direction every time. Ephemeral ports are the temporary client side ports used to receive the responses. Server reply to these ports, not back to the port 80. Allow versus deny. Security groups. Allow rules only. No explicit allow means implicit deny. Network ACLs. Both allow and deny rules. This is only way to block specific IPs. Rule processing. Security groups all rules are evaluated. If any rules allow it, traffic passes. Network ACLs. Rules processed in order. Lowest number first, first match wins, and processing stops. Defaults. Security groups. Start lockdown. Deny all inbound, allow all outbound. Network ACLs default NACL allow everything. Custom NACLs deny everything until you add rules. These five differences tell you everything about when to use each. Here is your decision framework as an architect. Use security group for 95% of your security needs. Why? They are stateful, easier to manage, and handle standard application security perfectly. Best practices. Reference other security groups instead of IP addresses. Separate security groups by tier web, app, database. Use descriptive names prod, web, tier, EC2, SG, not something like my SG 12345. Let's see a three tier architecture with respect to security group. ALB security group. Allow 443 from anywhere. App tier security group. Allow 8080 from ALB security group. Database security group. Allow 3306 from app tier SG. Each tier only accept from the tier above. That's layer security with security groups. Use network ACLs when you need that critical 5%. Specifically two scenarios. Scenario first, blocking specific IPs. Security groups can't deny. When there is attack from 198.51.100.0/24. NACL rule 50, deny all from the attacker IP. NACL rule 100, allow all from everywhere. Rule 50 processes first, block the attacker. Subnet wide policies. Need to enforce a security policy across an entire subnet regardless of the instance security groups. NACLs can do this. The architecture approach would be start with the security groups, layer in NACLs only when you have specific needs. Don't overcomplicate. The real power is using both together. Let's take an example. You are running a web application. Here is how you architect security. Public subnet NACL. Rule 50. Deny all from the attacker IP. Rule 100. Allow TCP 443 from everywhere. Rule 110. Allow TCP 80 from everywhere. Outbound rule 100. Allow TCP ephemeral ports to all. Load balancer security group. Inbound 443 from everywhere and inbound 80 from everywhere. Private subnet NACL. Rule 100, which will be allowing all from the internal VPC, which is 10.0.0/16, and outbound will allow all to the internal VPC only. Application security group. Inbound 8080 from ALB SG only, and database security group would be having 3306 from app SG only. Traffic flow: when a user hit your app, request arrives, public subnet NACL checks if IP is blocked, passes to application load balancer, and ALB security groups allow 443. ALB then forwards the traffic to the app instance. App instance will accept only the traffic from the ALB security group. It passes to the private subnet, then private NACL will allow the VPC traffic only, and it again passes to the DB instances. But the DB instance will only allow from the app security group on the port 3306. Two layers. Defense in depth. If one fails, the other catches it. NACLs are stateless. That outbound ephemeral ports rule isn't optional. Without it, responses die at the subnet boundary, even though security groups would allow them. This is how you architect production security. Let me show you this in action. Block a specific IP while keeping your app accessible to everyone else. Go to AWS console, VPC, network ACLs, and select subnet NACL. Add the inbound rule, rule number 50. Type all traffic source from the attacker IP, and and it should be deny. This processes before your allow rules, blocking this IP at the subnet level. Verify your security group still allows everyone. Go to EC2, security groups, web server security group, inbound HTTPS 443 from everywhere. Security group says allow everyone, NACL says except this one IP. And the result would be from the attacker IP, connection timeout would be there. NACL blocks before reaching to the instances. From any other IP, connection succeeded. NACL allows it, also the security group allows. Don't forget the outbound NACL rule. Outbound rule 100 would allow the TCP 1024265535 to all, which is the ephemeral ports. Without this, responses can't leave the subnet. Stateless means you manage both direction. That's layer security in practice. Subnet level deny, instance level allow, working together. Here is what you now understand as an architect. The five critical differences: instance versus subnet level, stateful versus stateless, allow only versus allow plus deny, all rules versus sequential processing, different defaults, when to use each. Security groups: 95% of the security needs, stateful, fine grained, easier to manage. NACLs are remaining 5%, critical scenarios, blocking IPs, compliance, defense in depth. How to layer them? NACLs for the subnet level perimeter defense, security groups for instance level precise control. Together, defense in depth that catches what the other misses. Start with security groups, get them right, reference other security groups, separate by tier, principle of least privileges, add NACLs only when you need to block IPs or satisfy compliance. Keep it simple, layer strategically. What's next? EC2 and autoscaling, designing for failure, scale, and cost. We'll apply VPC and security fundamentals to architect highly available, fault tolerant EC2 workload using autoscaling groups, multi availability zone placements, load balancer integration, scaling policies, health checks, and instance lifecycle controls, focusing on resilience, performance, and cost efficiency, not just the deployment. Before you go, what's your biggest security challenge? Drop it in comments. If this video gave you understanding of AWS security, subscribe to Cloud Native Labs. We release production focused deep dives every week. Now go architect secure infrastructure. This is Cloud Native Labs. Let's architect system that scale, one service at a time. See you in the next one. Happy learning.